What if I told you the most dangerous moment in this story isn't when someone says yes, but when someone stops speaking? Because in this chapter, one announcement walks into a quiet room and nothing is the same again. A proud messenger, a shocking truth, and a family that refuses to believe it. You'll see how a single engagement turns into blame, resentment, and lasting anger. How a mother's pride becomes bitterness, how a friendship breaks without a fight, and how silence begins to hurt more than rejection. You'll watch one woman celebrate a future, while another fears losing everything. And while one marriage moves forward without love, another love starts fading in the background. No arguments, no dramatic goodbyes, just distance, rumors, and waiting. Because this chapter isn't asking who gets married, it's asking something far more unsettling. What happens when happiness arrives at the wrong door and the person you're waiting for never comes back? Stay with me, because by the end of this chapter, you won't remember the engagement, you'll remember the absence. It's about what happens after the shock, when anger settles in, when silence grows, and when hope starts slipping away quietly. Because this story begins not with joy, but with disbelief. Elizabeth was sitting with her mother and sisters, replaying everything she'd learned. She wasn't even sure she was allowed to speak about it yet. And then the door opened. Sir William Lucas walked in, smiling, proud, certain of his importance. He didn't hesitate. He didn't soften the moment. He announced the engagement. At first, the room froze. Mrs. Bennet refused to accept it. She insisted he must be mistaken. Lydia laughed loudly, careless as always, and said exactly what everyone was thinking. "But Mr. Collins wants to marry Lizzie." The words hung in the air. The situation turned uncomfortable, fast. Any man without patience would have taken offense, but Sir William endured it all with perfect politeness. He calmly repeated that the engagement was real. Still, no one believed him, so Elizabeth stepped forward, and in one quiet moment, she confirmed everything. It was true. Charlotte Lucas was engaged to Mr. Collins. Polite congratulations followed. Smiles appeared. Jane supported Elizabeth at once. But none of it was real. Because the second Sir William left, the house erupted. Mrs. Bennet refused to believe the engagement. Then she claimed Mr. Collins had been tricked. Then she declared she hoped the marriage would fail completely. But two ideas mattered most to her. First, Elizabeth was somehow to blame. Second, she herself had been cruelly mistreated. Nothing could calm her. Not that day, not the next. Her anger lasted for weeks. She scolded Elizabeth constantly. She was rude to the Lucases for months. And forgiving Charlotte, that took far longer. Mr. Bennet, however, reacted in his own way. He found the whole situation amusing. To him, the engagement proved that Charlotte Lucas, once thought sensible, was just as foolish as his wife, and even foolisher than Elizabeth. Jane was surprised too, but she spoke only of her hope for their happiness. She refused to judge. Kitty and Lydia didn't care at all. To them, Mr. Collins was just a clergyman. The engagement was nothing more than gossip to share in town. But Lady Lucas, however, enjoyed her quiet victory. She visited Longbourn often, proudly reminding Mrs. Bennet that her daughter was now well married. Each visit only deepened Mrs. Bennet's bitterness. And between Elizabeth and Charlotte, something ended. They spoke, but carefully. They avoided the subject. Elizabeth knew the truth. Real confidence between them was gone forever. So she turned her heart toward Jane. And that was when a new worry took hold. Mr. Bingley was still gone. One day passed, then another. No letters, no return. Rumors spread through town that he would not come back at all that winter.
Mrs. Bennet was furious. Jane said nothing, but her silence said enough. Elizabeth tried not to think the worst, but fear crept in anyway. Not that Bingley had stopped caring, but that others were keeping him away. His sisters, his powerful friend, London itself. Jane endured her anxiety quietly, while her mother spoke of nothing else. Every hour brought new complaints, new fears, new pressure. Then another letter arrived. Mr. Collins wrote with dramatic gratitude, thanking the family for every kindness. He announced his happiness with Charlotte and explained that Lady Catherine strongly approved of the marriage and wanted it to happen as soon as possible. He also planned to return to Longbourn. That news brought no joy. Mrs. Bennet complained bitterly. She hated visitors. She hated lovers even more. When Mr. Collins returned, he spent most of his time at Lucas Lodge. Lovemaking kept him busy and spared the Bennets from his presence. Still, Mrs. Bennet could not escape her misery. The very sight of Charlotte Lucas filled her with jealousy and fear. She imagined Charlotte already claiming the house, already planning the day she and her daughters would be turned out. She complained endlessly to her husband, and Mr. Bennet responded as he always did, with dry humor and indifference. Nothing comforted her, because this chapter isn't about celebration. It's about what happens when one woman secures her future, another loses peace, and another waits in silence, hoping love hasn't been quietly stolen away. No dramatic heartbreak, no clear ending, just tension, resentment, and waiting. And sometimes, that's the most painful kind of story.